Hi, it's Paul from selfoutforlife.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about the 9 fundamental emotional states. Now, emotions are a key driver for action. They're like the fuel for success. And I'm sure you've had days where you've felt really good and you've achieved a lot in the day, and you felt really on top of the world, and it just seems so easy to get things done. And then maybe you've had other days when you feel flat, you feel no energy, feel frustrated, and you just can't seem to, your head seems confused, your mind is busy, and you just can't seem to get anything done. Well, this is an area that's interested me a lot, and at the moment I'm reading a book called The Sedona Method by Hale Dawskins. You may have heard of it. I'll put a link to this book in the description below this video in case you want to check it out. And in this book he talks about the 9 emotional states. And these states go on a gradient scale from energy to action. So the lowest state, which is apathy, there's very low body energy and there's very low external action. But what's interesting is our emotional states change anyway. In the course of a day we might go through a number of different emotional states, and you'll probably notice that when I go through these. You'll identify and relate to more than one of them. So this video is going to help you identify the emotional state that you're in right now. I'm not really going to talk about how to change the states. That's going to be something I'm going to do in another video where I'm going to talk about releasing, which is another key component of the Sedona method. But for now I just want to give you a bit of an introduction to what these emotional states are, because often awareness is the first point of change anyway. Okay, so let's kick off. The first emotional state is apathy. And apathy is really that feel that desire is dead and it's no use. So feeling that what's the point? What's the point in doing this? So it's also feeling that you can't do anything, and it's also feeling that no one else can help. So it's a very much a helpless kind of feeling. There's also kind of dense and heavy, and you feel that there's no way out. And what tends to happen is you tend to withdraw from life, you play weak, because you're afraid of getting hurt. And a lot of these symptoms I mentioned now are quite similar to people that suffer with depression or depressive episodes. But what's interesting is, although very little external action is happening, the mind is actually really busy. There's a really wild imagination going on there. But that mind and imagination is very limiting, it's very destructive. It can only see failure, and it can only see what we can't do. And as a result, there's little or no energy left to actually act, because inwardly we're being pulled in so many conflicting directions. So it's just like the mind is pulling you in so many different ways, there's just no energy to do anything else. Now, some of the words that describe apathy include feeling bored, hopeless, I can't, feelings of despair, powerlessness, indecisive, feeling lazy, stuck, or overwhelmed. Okay, so the next emotional state is grief. So this is just a little bit higher than apathy, but not much. Now with grief, you still feel that you can't achieve whatever it is on your own, but you could do it with someone else's help. Grieving is also about grieving for someone or something that you've lost in the past, or something that you want in the future that you don't have now. But it's really yearning for someone else to help, someone who can just come in and just fix the problem for you. Now, there's a little bit more body energy in grief. Your mind is slightly less cluttered, but it's still very noisy, and your imagination is picturing pain and loss. And you have thoughts around how much you've been hurt, what you've lost, and also whether there is anybody out there that can really help. And some of the words and phrases that describe grief include feeling abandoned, guilty, betrayed, vulnerable, rejected, also those feelings of nostalgia when you look back at the good times or what you had in the past, feelings of cheated, hurt, and sadness. Okay, so the next emotional state, the third one, is fear. Now with fear you want to act, you want to strike out, but you don't because you feel that the risk is too great. Or you want to reach out, but you're just afraid of getting hurt. Now your body has more energy here, and feelings can change rapidly from positive to negative. Your mind is still pretty busy though. The focus tends now to be more on getting hurt, losing out, and how you must protect yourselves and your loved ones. And some of the words and phrases that describe fear would include feeling anxious, doubt, scared, sceptical, nervous, or even terrified, feeling vulnerable, worry, or cautious. So the fourth emotional state is lust. And lust is about wanting possession. It's very much a wanting kind of feeling. It's a hunger for money, power, sex, people, places and things. But that hunger comes with hesitation. There's underlying feelings there that we cannot or should not have what it is that we're desiring. So again, there's more energy now, and the sensations can be quite pleasurable and quite intense, as the mind is having these positive fantasies, but they're all about what we don't have yet. So they're all positive fantasies about the future. And our thoughts tend to be about what we need to get and what we don't have now. And what we tend to find when people have a lot of this kind of lust feeling is that however much they get, they never feel completely satisfied, and they never really quite enjoy what they have. Now, some of the words and phrases that describe lust include anticipation, craving, impatience, obsessed, compulsive, can't wait, envy, pushy, and I must have it. Okay, so the next emotional state now is anger. So anger is where you have that desire to hurt and stop others, but it also comes with hesitation. You may or may not strike out with that anger. So again, there's more energy there, and that energy is quite intense and quite explosive at times. Your mind is a little bit less cluttered, but it's still pretty noisy, and it's quite stubborn and quite obsessive. You may have thoughts about getting even, about how to make others pay. And that energy that you get from anger can actually be quite frightening for yourself, and sometimes that can lead you back down to some of those lower states. Now, whatever actions you take are mostly destructive to you and to those around you, and if it's something that you're resenting in the past, if you keep reliving that experience and keep getting that anger emotion, then that's going to affect you in the present and make it hard to let go of this emotion as well. So some of the phrases that describe anger include aggressive, annoyed, furious, hatred, outraged, resentment, jealousy, impatience, and demanding. Okay, the sixth negative emotional state is pride. And pride is really all about maintaining the status quo. We don't want to change or move ourselves, so instead we try and stop others so that they don't get ahead. Our mind is still pretty noisy and very rigid and self-involved. The pictures are about what we already have and what we already know. And when you're with others, it's all about noticing how great you are, because actually inside you're trying to hide your own shortcomings. And over time you start to ignore your own shortcomings, and as a result you're not open to receiving help and support from others because you don't think there's actually a problem. So you're not willing to learn as well. And some of the words and phrases that describe pride would include being narrow-minded, arrogant, patronising, clever, judgmental, being a know-it-all, critical, overbearing, and complacent. Okay, so just a quick recap. I've so far covered the 6 negative or limiting emotional states. So the first one was apathy, then we had grief, then we had fear, then lust, anger, and then finally pride. Now those first 6 emotional states, they like form a thin crust over the next 3 more positive emotional states. And if you think of it a bit like peeling an onion, so we're peeling off these 6 emotional layers to reveal the more positive layers inside. Now, in the Sedona method, the way this is done is is what is called releasing or letting go, and there's a whole process for that. And that's a process that I will cover in another video very soon, because I know you're going to find that useful. I find it very useful myself. But for now, I just really want to focus on just your awareness of these emotional states, because often awareness is the first key to change anyway. Okay, so the next 3 positive emotional states, the ones that are sort of below the 6 that I've covered already, are courageousness, acceptance, and peace. And the 6 that I've just covered are a lot around I can't, what I can't do. The next 3 are much more about what I can do. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So the next emotional state is courageousness. And this is about having a willingness to act without hesitation. It's a feeling that we can do whatever needs doing, that we can let go and we can move on, and that we can be flexible, resilient and open. And our thoughts and images that go in our mind are much more about what we can do and what we can learn. And as a result, we're self-motivated, we're self-reliant, and we're also okay with other people succeeding as well. And we're also okay with making mistakes ourselves, and we might even laugh at them. And as a result, life is fun. So some of the words that describe courageousness can include resilience, visionary, decisive, I can, certainty, enthusiastic, motivated, competent and confident. Okay, so number 8 is acceptance. And acceptance is about having and enjoying everything as it is. It's about knowing that there's no need to change anything. That everything is okay, everything just is and is okay. And as a result, the body has a lot more energy. But interestingly, that energy is mainly at rest. It's just available if it's needed. And the mind is much less cluttered, it's mostly quiet and content. And any images and thoughts you have are of love, and they're of joy, and of what is. And some of the words and phrases that describe acceptance include abundance, beautiful, delight, belonging, enriched, everything is okay, fullness, harmony, and joyful. So the 9th and final emotional state, and the highest level emotional state, is peace. And when we experience peace, we feel like I am whole, I am complete. Everyone and everything is part of myself. Everything is perfect. The body has a lot more energy than in acceptance, but that energy is totally at rest. That energy is totally still. The energy is quiet and calm. The mind is clear and empty, yet totally aware. There's no need for any pictures or any thoughts. Life is as it is, and all is well. The mind is not planning the future, and it's not worrying about the past. It's just resting in the now. And it's basically being rather than doing. So being a human being rather than a human doing. So some of the phrases that represent peace would include wholeness, awareness, oneness, perfection, pure, complete, serenity, free and fulfilled. So, have a think about the emotional state from those 9 emotional states. We'll just recap them again. So we started with apathy, then grief, then fear, then lust, anger and pride. So they were the 6 lower level states. And then we transcended to courageousness, acceptance and peace. So just as you're watching this video, I just wonder which one you resonated with the most right now, which state you felt you're in at the moment. Remembering that you've probably experienced all of these at some point in your life. So really this was just to give you a bit of awareness. Hope you found this interesting, this video, just to get a sense of what these different ones are. So now as you go through your day-to-day life, you'll probably be a lot more aware of these now, and maybe just start to make changes to move to those higher states. And as I mentioned earlier, I will do a different video on how to release on the lower emotional states, so you can experience more of these higher level states of courageousness, acceptance and peace. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and do leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think, and do subscribe so you can receive future videos just like this one, and also click the bell icon next to the subscribe button. When you do that, that will ensure that you will get all of my future videos, including the one that I'm going to do soon on releasing. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to talking with you again very soon. Bye for now.